from the media or others who might have a question. Yes?
Could you be more descriptive about what tax incentives you guys are going to be discussing for businesses to look at Norwalk and Florida?
Well, again, we're going to be putting together a group to look at the incentives that are available either through state statute or whether we have a city ordinance that deals with them, and trying to give them tax relief for a certain period of time if they opt to invest in Norwalk. I know people start hearing tax relief and incentives, and it makes it sound like, well, are we going to be paying the burden? But if somebody is going to come into Norwalk and invest, and their overall tax burden will be $200,000 or $300,000, if you give them some relief from that, there's still $150,000 that we'll be getting that we didn't get before. Mary Carmen.
Mayor, when do you have a meeting with the Latino community and the east side? Most of the people ask you how the Latinos have to come to the city for you, and they try to know how the city is working for our community. The first of all. The second is, in the campaign, you decided to give back the money to South Norwalk Community Center because the city is in debt with that. So in this budget, you had the money to return this money to the South Norwalk Center?
Well, the South Norwalk Community Center was funded through a grant for health and human health, no, Hispanic Health Development, I think it was, and that was $80,000 that was given to them from NEON. It wasn't given from the city. It was given from NEON through a grant through the Department of Social Services. So while we understand the need for social services in the city of Norwalk, we have to sit down with the appropriate people, whether it be working with NEON and working closely with the South Norwalk Community Center, to find out what funding is available that we in the city can afford to give at this particular point in time. We have city grants and we have redevelopment agency grants, and those are one source of revenue stream. But we have to look and find out what other sources are available. I'll be working with Mr. Hamilton and others to determine how that can be done.
If the question another is the Latino, how do you have to make the bridge with us? Because we need some specific person working with you and some bilingual person.
Well, there are bilingual people working in the city of Norwalk, and we just put forth through the Adam Babilski, who's, what's his title?
Human Relations.
So,
Human Relations. We're going to be giving stipends of city employees who speak other languages. We also have a language line available so that if somebody comes into the city of Norwalk, into City Hall, and they have they're not able to understand and communicate with the department head, we can get on the language line and we can they can ask their question and that person will translate. Robert?
You had mentioned NEON and social services. What contingency plans do you have with NEON?
Well, there's still discussions as to what is going to happen with NEON. I was on a conference call last night at 9:30 where these issues were being discussed. And but my thought is that we have to get moving forward sooner rather than later, because as we speak, a lot of people are going without the social services to which they're entitled. So I want to make sure that we put in place something that will be effective and be delivering those services to the people that need it.
Would other organizations take them over? Or what?
That's yet to be seen. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. It's still in discussions, but it's my desire that these discussions become fruitful sooner rather than later.
On development, Mayor, you had mentioned that you believe head of the harbor and POCA will move shovels in the ground in 6 months.
To a year. 6 months to a year.
What leads you to believe that?
I'm sorry?
What leads you to believe that, given
The discussions that we've had. Head of the Harbor South met with the redevelopment agency and other stakeholders in the community, and they resolved some issues that were outstanding. And so we believe that that's going to move forward. Head of our POCO, I've written a letter in support of flex funds and credits for POCO from the state of Connecticut, and it seems like at least part of their request has been granted. I expect a positive result in the second part of their request, and based on that, in speaking with the developer POCO, I believe 6 months to a year they will be in the ground as well.
So these are new and different sources of funding from the state? Or?
For POCO,
Okay.
yes.
And lastly, on the appointments, you had mentioned diversity and that you had a breakdown. Could you elaborate on that breakdown?
I'll find it here. So far, and there could be a mix here, like if I say women and African Americans, one of the women might be African American. So we've appointed 4 women, 3 African Americans, 3 Hispanics, 2 Asian. We put appointments of African Americans and Asians on the Police and Fire Commission and Hispanics, Board of Redevelopment Agency, Zoning Board of Appeals, and Planning Commission. And I have other names that we'll be putting forward. I am pleased that my call for recommended names to serve on boards and commissions has resulted in many people coming forward, not only volunteering, but putting other names forward as well. Nancy?
You said your South Norwalk Business Improvement District. Is that working with Kim Workway, or is this a different idea you're talking about?
No, that's Tom Rich and some of the developers in the area who have an interest are moving forward to put together a business business improvement district. So I'm working closely with them to see that that can happen. We're looking at the boundaries right now. I've had some discussions to determine what the boundaries I would support. So we're moving forward with that.
Okay. You also said city.
Nancy, you still have the floor. I'll give you a minute, Mike.
Okay. You said city emails. Is there a specific reason for that you decided to go on that route?
Yes, the reason is that it has nothing to do with the recent issue of a commissioner's email being subpoenaed.
Okay.
This was something that I mentioned before I even knew that. I know that if you use your private email for city business, then everything within your private email would be open to scrutiny if they were looking for certain things within your email. So for instance, if they subpoena your email, there'll be keywords that the law department will be sitting and looking for, and Ms. Del Vecchio can certainly attest to that because you were a part of that, looking for keywords in that email that might be appropriate to the issue at hand. And if you do city business and you have 30 emails that are city business and 500 emails that are personal and private, each of those items would have to be reviewed just to make sure that there were none of those keywords or none of the city business incorporated in that. So I want to protect the privacy rights of the people who serve for virtually no money at all, and we'll work on that as well. But they work for virtually no money at all, and to find that their privacy rights could be subject to public scrutiny, I felt it would be more appropriate to give them their own city email. I felt that for a long time, even when I was a police chief. Mike?
You had promised action on making Norwalk a more livable city,
Yes.
making more bikeable, more walkable, and I think you've demonstrated that that commitment is happening with the recent news on the Norwalk River Valley Trail, the piece from...
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Union, I know, so I'm just going to mention it for you. But the piece from Union Park to New Canaan Avenue has been approved in terms of design. And the Harbor Loop Trail, the 3-mile loop trail that uses existing and proposed segments around the city is moving forward, which is great news. We have a bike plan, and I just want to ask if you can work with DPW or to ensure that when streets are repaved, that they're coordinated with our 2011 bike plan to put in new bike lanes where they're recommended, where they fit, where they're appropriate, and if we can look at Strawberry Hill Avenue and fixing some of the issues there when the recent bike lanes were put in, but that are difficult to navigate for children and adults.
Remember when I said to you, give me a call, I need to speak with you?
Yes.
Bingo, that's my plan.
Okay.
You're going to be tasked with helping me out.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, I do want to thank you all for coming here. and hearing what's happened in the first 100 days of my administration, and hopefully we will continue moving Norwalk forward. And I want to thank the common council members that are here, Jerry Trini, Sharon Stewart, Luisa Melendez, don't know, Shannon O'Toole Gianderco, that's a tough name, and all the department heads who came and showed an interest in Norwalk, and the citizens that have come as well. Thank you very much.